Really appreciate everybody coming out today. Again, another great team building day for us. We have had 4 previous candidates on board with us. Today we add another one, the Tea Party back candidate in the race, a really amazing guy that I've gotten to know well over the last 4 or 5 months, a guy that really stands for less government and less spending and less taxes, who stands for the fundamental principles of the Constitution. These are the things that I stand for, and I'm anxious to get a chance to get up there and make a difference for people up in D.C. I want to introduce the latest member of our team, Larry Kobrovsky. Thank you, sir.
I want to say it's an honor to be here for Paul. We've gotten to know each other. My original intent was to stay neutral. I represented the grassroots conservatives, and the problem was not that there were too few of us. The problem was that there were too many, frankly. There was other candidates. If you looked at Mark Lutz and Jen Rett, they also represented true grassroots conservatives. But after the primary, I met one-on-one with both Paul Thurmond and Tim Scott, and people have asked me an honest question, and I think given an honest question, who am I going to vote for and work for, I give an honest answer. And I think I'm convinced that Paul Thurmond would be an honorable congressman. I think I've had an opportunity again to meet with them both one-on-one, and for me I think Paul would stay grounded, and he has a perspective larger than himself. I think that we want somebody who will work hard for the people of the district without being distracted by the national glare. I think Paul would be a hard worker for conservative values and constitutional principles. It would not be a celebrity spokesman. And I also think he would wake up every day with a purpose larger than himself. And I ran on the basis of the constitutions and the values of our founding fathers. And I think they had envisioned somebody like Paul as a congressman. He has a sense of a purpose larger than himself, and he has an existence outside of politics. He would be grounded with his family, his wife, and his children. And Paul has also agreed to co-sponsor a constitutional amendment for term limits, which I think is probably one of the most important things that I ran on, so we wouldn't have professional politicians but average people. And I'd like to say, after getting to know Paul, I had to overcome seeing him as a rival, and once I got through that and saw him as an individual, I have no doubt that he would be a great congressman and be grounded and work hard for the values and principles I fought for. So, and after meeting Tim, is a man of considerable charm and worth in himself. But I think ultimately that it's you have to have somebody serving us with a purpose larger than himself. And I think of the two, Paul would fight hard for conservative values and constitutional principles. It would be about us, not himself. And I think that's who we need in Congress. And without hesitation, I can tell people honestly, in answer to an honest question, that's who I would vote for. And I had the rare opportunity of meeting them both at length and seeing them as individuals. And I think that I wish everybody had had that opportunity. And also I resent the way the national media is portraying this, and hundreds of thousands of dollars coming in from special interests, and you want a congressman who will arrive in Washington without the baggage of special interest contributions from out of state. I think Paul would also provide that, because I think when you come with the baggage of all that money from outside, is who are you going to represent? And Paul, I'm convinced, would represent us. And I think with Paul Thurmond sponsoring the constitutional amendment for term limits in Congress, that'll give weight and heft to it. So I'm honored to be here today to endorse and tell people I'm going to vote for Paul Thurmond for Congress. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you so much. Yes. I just want to briefly comment on some of the things Larry pointed out. First of all, I'm not Washington's pick. I'm not Columbia's pick. I want to be the people's choice. The greatest thing about democracy is the people get to decide. Washington is broken, and they think they can choose the next representative from the 1st Congressional District. That is wrong. Columbia, frankly, is broken. They think they can choose the next representative from this district, and that is wrong. I believe the people get to make that decision. I'm anxious for them to get to know me. And isn't it amazing that out of the 7 other candidates, 5 have come out for me? I think that speaks volumes. These individuals have seen how hard I've worked, what I stand for, the passion, the courage, the sincerity of my message. And I'm anxious to make a difference for the people of this area. I'm hoping I get the chance. I'm reaching out to the Tea Party. I believe they've got a wonderful message. They're anxious to really change the things. We've got to do something about the status quo. Special interest has supported my opponent. That is the wrong way to go. I'm telling you, I'm going to be the man that really represents the people, that listens to the people and is responsible to the people. Thank you all for being here. I know we've got a little bit of the media here. I appreciate you being here. And Skylar, if you have any questions for either one of us, we're here for you. Okay.
I want to add one thing that Paul says. I think I ran against the political establishment, both nationally and locally. I think it's clear that the political establishment, both nationally and locally, is not behind Paul, but behind his opponent. I think it's important that we make a statement. And I think clearly, and I want to say that look beyond the name, that meeting Paul one-on-one, I do think he would represent more of what I tried to do when I ran for Congress as an average person, grounded in their family and the community, and not a professional politician. And after meeting Paul one-on-one, I've come to the conclusion that he better represents that. And that was after meeting him and no longer seeing him as a rival and seeing him as for who he really is. So thank you.
Thank you.